Last Monday, DeMarcus Cousins signed a $5.3 million deal with the Golden State Warriors. To put this contract into perspective, players like Darren Williams, Wayne Ellington, and Wesley Johnson are getting paid more than Cousins. Many NBA fans and analysts believe the 2018-19 season is already over. With the new acquisition, the Warriors have a starting five of all-stars with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Boogie Cousins. With Cousins signing with the Warriors this offseason, this brings up the question, should all-star players be allowed to take these huge pay cuts to join super teams? Let's look at the history of superstars taking pay cuts, starting with LeBron James. When LeBron departed from Cleveland for the first time, he created a super team in Miami with Wade and Bosh. But to make this happen, LeBron and Bosh both took $15 million less to make a super team a reality. So the problem with superstars taking pay cuts isn't a new issue, but it's more prevalent in the NBA than ever. With great players like Durant taking a $10 million pay cut in 2017, it creates a huge issue for the league. The reason why there's a salary cap in the first place is to make sure teams don't become too good and to have a balance of star players with mediocre players. But if the star players are willing to take less money to play with other stars, this creates an even worse super team issue than what we already have. But I have a solution to stop these star players from taking these huge pay cuts. To understand my proposal, I need to explain a little bit of how max contracts works in the NBA. A player in their first 6 years in the NBA is only allowed to get 25% of the cap. If the player has played 7 to 9 years, they are eligible for 30% of the cap, and if the player has played over 10 seasons in the NBA, like LeBron James, they're eligible for 35% of the team's salary cap. This is important because I'm basing my proposal off these numbers. So my proposal is if you meet any of these prestigious requirements within 2 seasons of signing a contract, there will be a minimum salary for these players. I believe a player in their first 6 years in the NBA that has achieved one of these accomplishments can only sign for a minimum of 20% of the cap. If a player has played 7 to 9 years, they can only sign at minimum 25% of the cap. And if a player has been playing for over 10 years, they can only sign for a minimum of 30% of the cap. Just for better understanding, the 2018-19 NBA cap is around $101 million, but we're just going to round to $100 million to make math easier. I know these numbers seem high at first glance, but when you look at 20% of the cap, it's only $20 million, which is the same amount of money that players like Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, and even Giannis Antetokounmpo are getting paid. So it is not like these minimums are restricting the players too much. Also, the players want to save some cap room for the team that can't take the minimum, but the cap is just high enough for players like Boogie Cousins can't join a team with 4 other superstars. There could be an issue like what if the player gets injured before their contract year, like Cousins, and no one wants to sign him for 20 to 30% of the cap because of the risk. Maybe for that situation there could be an exemption, but the point is I know the proposal isn't perfect, but I believe the NBA needs to become more competitive and the minimum contracts is the solution for that. I know this isn't perfect, like I said, but the main reason why I brought up this topic was not because I had the perfect plan, but to get the conversation talking about minimums for star players. And I believe it's a good idea, especially setting the requirements high for the players that have to take high minimums. That's why I picked the high requirements that I did, so an average Joe player would not have to take these high minimums and they can be able to take whatever they want. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my idea, if you would change like the percents of the cap or anything else. If you enjoy watching sports content like this, subscribe for more. I post about once a week. Thanks for watching.